Did you see the viral that's going off on? Did you see? Did you see the viral about the CEO who's caught on a, what is it, kiss cam at a Coldplay concert? Okay. So I can't get over this story, okay? And algorithm, please do not show me more. I cannot see any more. It's crazy, right? Like, so there's more updates like each day. And my algorithm is like, yeah, Marinese, I know you want to hear more about this. Let me give you more information. No, don't give me any more information. Please don't give me any more. I'm done. I have been pressing hide. I'm like, hide, please do not show this to me. And it keeps popping left and right. Now, mind you, I did the thing, right? Like, I saw it going viral. I said, let me see, let me be updated. Let me see what's going on. At this point, people are making memes. People are, child, my lips knitted it. People are doing memes. There's like a whole thing going on. There's like, people are trying to mimic it at games. I'm over it. And so I'm an empath, okay? I am a complete empath. And be like watching and reading stuff just like makes me really sad. I don't know if you feel the same way. I'm just like, oh, there's like a whole family involved. There's children. Oh my God. Like, sir, are you freaking kidding me? So like, I want to know more. Then what happened? Oh, the job put him on leave. And then now he resigned. And then the wife took off her last name on Facebook. I think she also went, she like, what did she do? I think she shared like a statement. I'm done. I do not want to hear anymore. And it's just making me sad. It's making me sad. And then people want to talk about it. I'm like, no, I can't talk about it anymore. I'm done. Please, algorithm, do not read. Don't listen to me. I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear it. I'm done. But so the crazy part is that I've been thinking about this, right? I'm like, why? Because this is how my brain works. I'm like, why is this going viral? Last time I checked, it was like 40 million views. 40 million views. And I was like, there's something about this, right? There is like, I think there's this thing of like good versus bad kind of situation of like where like, I think as humans, we want justice. We want to see things like, I guess, I don't know, reparations. I'm trying to figure out what it is. I'm like, there's something about this, right? It's not just the idea of like, oh, they got caught, the algorithm made them go viral. No, it's who they are, right? The story, they work together. You're cheating, right? There's all of these things. And as humans, I think we want to hear the good versus bad, who wins, and that's what you get, right? How dare you disrupt your family, your job, your right? And in my head, that makes sense. Why this is going viral. And then there's, oh my gosh, people are doing like memes. People are creating more stories. I saw this girl on IG. She has a business that does like divorce parties. And so she has this video where she's like flaming a wedding dress and being like, girl, call me at your divorce party. I throw really cool divorce parties. I said, everybody and their mother has gone on it, right? And I find that really interesting. And it is connected to what I'm talking about today. This project, this journey of creating a positive birth podcast. I've had a lot of conversations about this like throughout the years. This is a dream come true. And for me, one of my fears, I wouldn't say concerns, but I think fears. One of my fears is that this idea of talking about positive births is too positive. Does it make sense what I'm trying to say to you? The reason why we click on the stuff that we really shouldn't be clicking, or the stuff that's like somebody got into a car accident and you get to see all of it and you're still watching it because you're like, I just can't stop watching it, right? It's this thing of like I don't know whether it's our brain. Oh my gosh, my kids are so loud. Kids, you're so loud. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. But I think what happens is our brain is wired. I don't know if it's our brain. I don't know if it's trauma. Maybe we need to look this up. There's just a lot that happens that we're attracted to mess. Does that make sense? Like when things are negative, we're attracted to it. There's a reason to why most of the things that you've heard is negative birth stories, okay? Right? There's a whole reason to why what we hear the most is, you know, whose crazy birth story was it? What happened and how worse it got, right? Like how there was a cascade of interventions and all of these things that it led to more trauma. There's a reason to why that's what you've heard the most, right? Because there's something about us that is like I don't want to use the word attractive, but like we're attracted to like mess, right? And misery. And I know that sounds very judgmental and that could be hard to hear. I really want I want to even say that we all have that in us, right? So there's the reason when I come to you and I say, girl, it's rough out here. What do you do? You go, yeah, man, it's hard, right? If I come to you and I say, I had the best day ever. Like this week has just been so great. You don't really know how to respond to that, right? Like we are not used to hearing positive things all the time. And I was talking to one of my sisters that I work with, you know, we're in business together. So we meet, I think it's the three of us. We meet, we pray together. We kind of like help each other out. And one of the things I had said to them was that like, I was really nervous that, people don't really want to hear about positive things all the time. Like, are we really going to have you be able to hear this? Are you going to like want to tune in? Because we're so used to hearing the bad stuff and not the good stuff. And their support was really helpful, and just their perspective is that like sometimes we don't even know that we need positive births or we need positive stories until I tell you what happens if you don't listen to positive stories, right? So it's this idea of like finding what those pain points are so that you can then say, oh, you know what? I need to realign. You know what? I need to be able to hear about this positive birth stories, because I know that when I hear positivity, when I hear things going well, that actually lessens my overwhelm, that actually helps me to be more grounded, that actually makes me trust my body so that I can be able to go into labor room and do what it is that like to allow my body to do what it's meant to do. And so I thought that was also really helpful and interesting. And that's my goal, was that I can talk about those pain points as well so that they can really rewire your brain to say, oh, okay, like, right, for someone who's pregnant, for someone who's, preparing their body, preparing themselves to give birth, that they can come back and say, I need to listen to people who have had really good births, because that actually lessens my overwhelm, that actually helps me be ready, that actually does, like learning what it does. But this, it's not simple to, not necessarily to convince, but I think it's not simple to say, listen to positive birth stories. It's like, okay, so that what? So that it can do X, Y, and Z for you. One of the interesting conversations I had with one of the moms I support, Anna, and we're right now in the middle of texting and trying to find when we can do her interview. Anna, I supported Anna twice as her doula. And I was like, yo, you've just had like the most amazing births ever. I need you to tell people about your births, because they're just like dope.com. They're hospital births, right? And I think that's significant. Not saying good births don't happen outside the hospital. Most people still give births in the hospitals. So I'm always really interested in hearing about positive births like in hospitals, because most people still give births in hospitals. We will have people who have had different births in different spaces, so don't get it twisted. But there's something about listening to people who have given births in hospitals, because most people still give births in hospitals, right? And I would say, Anna, I need you to like tell people about your births. They are so good. Like, oh my God. And I remember Anna saying, she said, I get really nervous to tell people about my positive births when I'm in my mom groups. I said, what do you mean? She goes, most of my mom groups, people talk about how bad their birth was. And she goes, and I feel weird. I feel like I'm bragging. I was like, that's crazy, because I get it. That's been part of my journey. Like, for me to even come and be like, as a Black woman, I had a really good birth in a hospital setting. I had everything I wanted. And with my second birth, it was the same. I had an amazing birth. That's been really hard for me as a doula to come and say that out loud, and now create a whole project, a whole podcast about it, because it does feel braggy. Like, oh, okay, you think you're better than me? What do you mean? Right? We know the disparities that happen around, specifically as a Black woman, as a person of color, right? An immigrant, like all of these things, like we know. And unfortunately, we've all heard the bad stories. And it's so weird being the person who had a really good birth to be in this work at times and share, like, actually, that was not my story. My story was that I had a really good birth. And I also struggled to share that with people out loud, because I didn't want people to think I meant I was better than, because I know that I'm not better than. That's not what that means. But the truth is, we actually need to hear about more people having this amazing birth stories, because that is a space, like, I can't get over saying this, like, talking about positive birth experiences for someone like me, who looks like me, who had a really good birth, is a place of resistance. It is a place of choosing joy, right? What's her name? Talks about rest is resistance. Oh, Audra. Oh my God, her name just slipped. That's sad. But she talks about that, right? Like, especially when we talk about Black women, we don't rest. We just go and go and go. And this idea of actually taking a nap and resting is a place of resistance, and saying, I am going to choose myself. I am going to be well, because this culture of going, or this culture of negativity does not benefit me. It does not benefit you. And we need to infiltrate our negative world. We need to infiltrate it with joy. We need to infiltrate it with positivity, because that is a space that is like resistance. That is how we overcome all of this stuff. Why is this viral video going off about a guy who really just messed up his whole family and himself? It's because negativity spreads, right? As a business owner, I hear about this all the time in trainings, right? Like, pay attention to how you're doing your work. Negative reviews spike up more than positive ones, right? People will share, if you go to a restaurant, they will share how horrible the experience was before they share how good the experience is. And so this is really, I feel like I'm part of the community that's going against the current, that we are actually going to choose better. We are going to be positive. We are going, in spite of statistics, in spite of what I have personally seen, and I'll share just in a bit some things I've seen in labor room. Like, despite it all, this space is going to be that place where you put your shoulders down and you USA and allow your oxytocin levels to go up, because this is time for you to hear, to rewire your brain, so that you can be able to trust your body and trust yourself. Something about positive births is that once you have that experience, it takes you so far. It's not just about that giving birth that you were able to advocate, you were able to have the birth that you wanted, you were listened to, you were respected. It's not just that. Is that once you experience that, I promise you, you can do anything. And it's wild to say. It is wild to say, but once you have had a whole baby out of you, you have gone through that experience and it's been so positive and so amazing, you can do anything. There's a quote that says, when a baby is born, so is the mother. I just think that's so powerful. And I've said that about myself, and I've seen it with people that I've supported. When my son was born, That's when I got into this work. That's what was birthed. Like I was a whole new person. And I was like, if I can do that, you can't touch me. And then baby girl comes. That just like skyrocketed. It's like, what's the word? But there's this powerful thing that happens. And so when we're talking about positive birth experience, it's not just about like your birth, because obviously your birth is really important. It's after. It's what that does to you. It recharges you and takes you to a whole nother place. I can't wait for you to hear stories of like, I have one of my doula sisters who's actually in the co-op. She became a doula after she gave birth to her third kiddo and was like, this is what I want to do. Like changed her whole life. Changed her whole life. There is so much, look, I got chocolate. There is so much beauty, and there's it's this, cascade of things that happen when you are able to have your positive birth experience. Then your faith is higher. I have seen people change jobs, change lives, start writing books after they're like, if I could do that, if I could have an amazing birth, oh, I know I can go far. I have seen so many people also get into this work, be like me, right? That's my story. Be like, if I was able to have that, guess what? Someone else can have it. Everybody else can have it. And that's my dream. That this space is that. Not just for me, not just for you, but for all. We deserve that. We deserve joy. We deserve positive births. USA. Look, I have seltzer water. Also really low-key addicted to seltzer water. So I'm going to have solo episodes, and we have already started recording. And let me come a little bit closer. And one of the things I shared is that, when I talk about positive births, it's truly connected to so much, right? That part of talking about the resistance, right? I am part of the maternal mortality rate review here in our city. What this means is that we review deaths. Yes, you heard that right. We review deaths of moms who have died, and we have to determine whether it was pregnancy related or not, whether it was birth related or not. This is at the beginning of where then they get the numbers out to, this percentages that people get to find out about, the maternal mortality rate in the country, right? Between, the maternal mortality rate in Black moms, in people of color, in, this is that review for, for our city specifically. It is the worst place to be at. I dread it. Of course I dread it. And once we have done our sessions, they're not as often. I legit just like lay down. And they talk about caring for ourselves. These are people's lives that we're talking about, things that could have been avoided that we're not. And now they're not here. Do you know how heavy that is? I have been part of labor rooms. I remember my first birth. I will never forget it. My first birth was out in the county. I was the doula. I knew the family. The nurse comes in, true story, just looks at the mom that I'm supporting, looks at her partner and goes, do you know that we do drug tests? We're going to be drug testing you. I was like, what? And all she did was look at them and judge them and assume that they use substances. True story. And the mom was like, okay, sure. What do you mean? Because she's confused. Like, okay, you can do whatever it is that you do. What does that have to do with me? It was in the county. The family that I was supporting did not look like the nurse, right? They had tattoos. They were people of color. And what did she do? She judged them right away. My first birth. I could cry. I'm feeling a little bit emotional about it. My first birth. I have stories and stories as a doula that I have a doula who is like the person who comes to support, who comes to advocate. Stories and stories and stories of so much injustice, of so much that is so painful to even list it down for you, of what people have experienced in labor room, based on what they look like, based on people's biases, based on racism, based on all of these things. Or, they were there, the provider was there for a long time and they're ready to go home and now they're over it. So now they have an attitude and they talk to you however, or they don't listen to you. Stories. And that's why I want this space to be where we're actually choosing. We're choosing different, choosing to hear about positive births, choosing to talk about those stories, choosing to raise those voices, because that is resistance. That is how we combat all of this. This is how we do it, because you then have to believe that so many people are having positive birth experiences, and so can you, and so can someone else, and so can the next person. Because yes, the negative stories are there. Don't get it twisted. They are there. But so are the positive stories, and there's so many of them. And in a world, in a society that uplifts negativity, as humans, I can't explain it why we're attracted to negativity. I'm like, yo, we're gonna do it different. We're gonna do it different, because you know what? We're gonna choose joy. We're gonna choose positivity. We are going to choose something different because we deserve it. And you know what it does? It begins to rewire our brains. It begins to rewire our brains. And if this is the space that we're going to start that, absolutely. Like, I am so honored. And I think I've shared this. I know that this is a calling. I know that this will be good, because we'll begin to rewire our brains. Because now, more than ever, this is what we need. Now more than ever. You know what we need to go viral? This. Good news, joy, positivity, because it rewires our brain. We do not need any more trauma. Like, we do not need any more trauma. It's done, okay? That's what therapy is for. Okay, we do not need any more trauma, okay? We need more positivity, because that's what rewires the brain. And it pushes us to go do the impossible. Oh, look, my lighting is telling me it's time. I will be back. I will be back. Let me know. You see how the sun is shining on me? Let me know your thoughts. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for being here. I cannot wait. Thank you for being part of this journey. Till next time. And I'm going to eat my chocolate.